And there's a recording. All right, Fasila, you are up first. Take us away.
Yes, yeah. Hello, everyone. So, just wanted to talk about the CNCF mentorship program. As you know, CNCF has a lot of mentorship programs available, and all of the projects under CNCF are eligible to submit project proposals there. They're going to open the upcoming mentorship project proposals on January 16th. Uh, Once opened, the project maintainers from Istio can propose their mentoring project ideas. The details can be seen in that link, whatever I've given here. So we have to do it by January 31st, and if the proposal gets selected, we get interns or mentees to work on them under our guidance. So this is our first time, so it would be nice to show up in that space with some interesting ideas and have some mentorship experience as well. So I just wanted to inform all of you, and then please pass this information to other maintainers whom you know, and then it would be nice if we can get at least one or two project proposals there. Yeah, that's it I wanted to share.
Thank you, Fasila. Just for my understanding, how does this mentorship program work? Is
Uh,
it someone in our community or someone in the CNCF community mentoring?
Yeah, this
Uh,
mentorship is for all the CNCF projects. So we submit our project proposal. Similarly, from all other CNCF projects, similar proposals will be submitted. And then after January 31st, I think they will have internally a short listing, and then some of the project proposals will get selected. So I don't know about the exact criteria there, but once that is done, yeah, they will open mentee applications, and students or mentees, they can
I
go
see.
through the shortlisted application, shortlisted proposals, and then they will start applying for them according to their expertise and interest.
And the mentees are new to the community. They're part of
Yeah,
they're
they
in
will be
CNCF community.
mostly students. Yeah, they will apply, and then they will have stipends,
I
and
see.
we will be mentoring them to get the work done. So it will be like small prototype ideas, whatever you have, you can get it done. Or even I have seen documentation improvements, test improvements. Such things also can be proposed there, and then we can get student help to get it done. I think they'll be working from March to May on the proposals. That's the duration. So we should have such smaller prototypes in mind, um, which they can complete within that time frame.
Right. So essentially 1 to 3 months. Greg.
Do you have some examples of previous proposals submitted?
Yes, yes. We have Istio. It's the first time we are trying to participate here, I guess. But for the last October to November in the CNCF mentorship program, there are a list of proposals under the same GitHub link, whatever I have given. If you go back to 2022 folder, you will see the previous project proposals.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much. So this is a call to all of the maintainers and work group leads to propose mentorship projects. Any other questions and discussions on this particular topic before we move on? All right. So Daniel, you're up next.
So the next one is mainly targeted at John because he seemed to be the big pushback, but I don't see him here. So I guess this is more of a general question. What is a concern for patching release patches from like Kubernetes, for example, or Helm. In this specific case, it's a CVE that we may or may not be exposing through metrics. And Nick submitted a PR related to that issue, and John kind of pushed back on it pretty hard. And so I'm trying to understand what concerns John has and why would a non-feature patch release be a concern. Like I understand not bumping minor releases because those introduce features, but patch releases shouldn't be a breaking change. So I'm still trying to figure out what the concern is.
So John just joined.
Oh, hey, John. So to reiterate, the pull request there for that Nick Nellis put in regarding closing a CVE, a concern was brought up that it might be exposed through metrics, but I'm trying to understand what your concern is regarding patch release dependency bumps and why that would be a concern.
Yeah, so I'm not that concerned about this one because, like you said, it's only patches. The one on the 1.15 branch, though, is concerning because that's updating minor releases. And keep in mind, these aren't real CVEs. These are scanners that are kind of bogus, right? They have no impact on Istio in any way, shape, or form. So if it's something that's trivial, then sure, it's great to reduce the scanner noises, but to introduce real risk to users, I'm talking about the 1.15 one, to handle like something that's not really valid scanner noise, I don't think makes sense. But I'm fine with doing the 1.16 one.
Okay, yeah, the 1.16 one was the one I looked closely at. Like, I understand and agree with you on the minor release. You don't know what features change that might introduce a breaking change, but a patch release to me shouldn't be a concern. So I'll look back at the 1.15 one and see what we can do. But yeah, the 1.16, good to know that's not really a concern.
I just approved that PR, by the way, with the same note. Although my approval doesn't matter. I think it needs a release manager.
I didn't want to approve it when you had concerns, so that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Okay, so
Okay.
Daniel, since you are the release manager, now that John has approved, you should be good to go with the 1.16 one.
Yeah, I didn't want to approve it if he had concerns, so
Understood.
that's why I wanted to discuss. Thank you.
Sorry, Lynn, I talked over you. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying, okay, we're all set. So great. Thanks, everyone.
Right on. All right, let's move to the next one.
Okay, I just wanted to remind that we did a pull request and we have been waiting for a month and didn't get any response and approval. So is there anything more you expect from this pull request, or what's your opinion? It's about restricting installing Istio CNI node on nodes because some users that have huge clusters won't restrict some nodes from installing Istio CNI to reduce resource consumption.
The use case makes sense to me. The workflow I'm struggling to follow. So is this something that they would do before installing Istio or after the install?
Both before and after. Because I think that affinity, as far as I remember, John also pointed that affinity, setting affinity will allow to remove Istio CNI after installation.
So they'll be modifying the CNI daemon set to add it looks like it's adding an empty affinity bracket. Is that correct?
Yes, to allow users specify what they need, what label they need.
Okay, so we're going to recommend that they hand edit the daemon set to specify whatever they want. Can't they already do that without this change?
I think they can't.
Oh, there's a Helm value. Sorry, I missed that in the change.
One thing, are you guys using Helm or the Istio Cuddle or Istio operator?
We use Helm, but from the level of our operator. We
Okay.
deliver OLM operator and use Helm charts.
Because the way, I'm not saying we shouldn't accept this necessarily, but if you wanted to do this today, you could. In operator, there's arbitrary patching, and then we have a doc for Helm on how to customize it, so you can also do arbitrary patching. Just a note, I'm not saying that necessarily we shouldn't accept it, but that's kind of our response generally when people submit PRs to change obscure fields. Now, whether this is an obscure field, that's up for debate, but we do get a lot of PRs that are like, modify the some field in pod I've never even heard of, and that's generally a response.
Yeah, sure, okay. So don't you want this functionality in Istio?
I don't. It sounds like you do, though. I don't particularly care.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, I could see why other people might. It seems kind of reasonable. We just, the more features, the more APIs we add, the more we need to support them, and it gets, complicated, bloated, etc. So I'm not jumping to add this, but if there's, use case demands, then it seems like it could be reasonable.
Okay,
Yes.
understand.
Are you able to provide an example of what the Helm value would look like for this?
I was not the author of this PR, so I don't remember exactly.
Because it looks like, looking at the Kubernetes docs, the node affinity is a fairly complex object. It has a lot of fields in it. I'm trying to imagine what that would look like in a Helm values, particularly the inline command. It seems like it might be a little bit large.
Yes, you're right. I have to look at the history of. I'm looking at the history of this pull request because it was somewhere. Give me a second.
Without
You're breaking up, Costa.
abstract it, better now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, let me try again. So I was trying to say that whatever you put in values.yaml should be exactly what ends up in Kubernetes, not or to cut and paste and use it to customers.
Carson, you were good for about 5 seconds and it's breaking up again.
The same here.
Can you try maybe turn off the video and see if that'll help?
Okay.
So,
Mitch, I can't find how exactly it will look. I don't remember because I was not the author, but when someone wants to disable installing Istio CNI, then it would be required to specify in values the affinity and node affinity and specify what you want. Yeah, that's it. Because that was suggested by reviewers.
So the reason I ask is I would be interested in seeing a side-by-side. We do have the ability to patch today within our Helm charts and within Istio install and operator. and it looks a lot like a patch. The way, in my mind, I could be totally off base on this. But if the patch command is just as simple as the Helm values command, I don't know why we would extend the Helm API for that. If not, if it does actually simplify for the user the ability to modify this value, then let's go for it.
Okay. Thank you for feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for the PR.
I think the other thing to consider is how many other users are asking for this configuration now. Certainly, if there's a few user, more than one user asking, maybe it makes sense to be part of the Helm API. If it's just you at the moment, maybe you can try the advanced Helm configuration, see if it works for you.
Currently, we have a few users requesting this feature, but I can't give you more details. Okay. Thank you for your feedback. It's not very urgent. Just wanted to know why did PR got stuck.
Okay, so what's the what are the next steps here? Sounds like just if you really want this featuring Istio, then you should follow the recommendations that John and Mitch has proposed here, as well as find a list of users. Does that summarize it?
Yes, that's fine. I think that's it's Mitch, especially you might be disappointed why we are just adding affinity that requires a lot of from user to specify. That's why this is because we at the beginning we specified a label is CNI ignore or something like that, or annotation. I don't remember what was at the beginning, and this PR was evolving, and at this moment it's completely different from what it started from. So that's okay.
That's good context. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so that's that for this item here. And that's a list of written agenda. Does anyone else have things they'd like to bring up? All right. So just circling back to the first item there, I realized January 16th is actually next Monday. So looks like by this Friday, just 2 days from now, we should have anyone who would like to become mentor should propose their projects in here.
Thanks, Francis.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.